Her Journey to Healing, Reaching Women with a Desperate Cry is an 8-week Zoom seminar in which Kamala and Winston help women to start living their best life by rediscovering the image of God in their life. Kamala, a licensed marriage and family therapist, joins her husband of 16 years, an ordained pastor, to marry the clinical and the spiritual. You will begin living your best life filled with love, joy, and peace. Register at kwministries.net for this life-changing seminar.
I'm glad you brought that up because you had to take time
Yes.
so that you could spend that time
Yes.
with God. You had to sacrifice time.
I didn't sacrifice anything. I gained everything. True. Don't leave there though.
Okay.
Because a lot of people view it as, I can't give up that time that I need that time to sleep. I need that time to go to work. I need that time to watch a movie. I need that time to do homework. I need that time.
Yes.
When you spend time with God, you're not sacrificing anything. You're gaining everything.
So if you're following along with your guide, you'll see that there's a question here for you that follows along with where we are right now. It says, what are you willing to give up so you can enjoy the presence of God without feeling lonely?
And I want for you to say more about that question, because that question has some stuff implied.
Yes. Willingness, first of all, I think is the first important thing in there, because that means if I am willing to do something, that means that I recognize the importance, I recognize the benefit, I recognize that what I stand to gain is far more than what I stand to quote unquote lose.
The implication there is that you have some stuff in your life that will prevent you from accepting the gift of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit does not want to compete with other stuff. He's not going to compete with other stuff. It's Him. The Holy Spirit is your new method, your new outlook, your new reason for living. So it's not something you do part-time. It's not something you do in your spare time. Paul says, I no longer live. It's Christ that lives in me.
That's right. That's right.
So what's competing? What's there competing with your relationship with God?
evening and welcome, because if it's a Monday night, you're live with
KW and sometimes
Jay.
J.
Jay is actually in Ghana preaching the gospel of Jesus
Isn't that
Christ.
exciting?
That is very exciting. And Pastor Gibson is doing an excellent job in Ghana, meeting a lot of new people. And if he was here and we asked him what was he celebrating this Monday, he would say the ability to preach the gospel.
Are you sure enough would?
Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? It's so good to see you hanging out with us on tonight. We're so grateful for you. So, Kamala, it's Monday night.
You know what I'm celebrating?
Tell me.
I'm celebrating Pastor Gibson.
I
am celebrating Jimmy Gibson because of the work that he is doing right now, reaching people's lives. I'm excited for him.
And in Ghana. All right.
What about you? What are you celebrating today?
So I'm celebrating God's goodness. And what I mean by God's goodness is Jesus said, I have come that they might have life and have it more abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And too often we mistake abundance to mean a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I'm celebrating tonight a lot of God's goodness. He's just been so good to me.
Yeah.
And I'm celebrating that.
Nice. If you're watching, we would love to hear from you. What are you celebrating on this Monday? Because remember, on Mondays, we are being intentional about the kind of headspace and mindset that we want to be in. Mondays can be a day of blues, but it doesn't have to always be just blues. So we want to hear from you. What are you guys celebrating today?
So what is it that we do here on a Monday night?
Guys, we talk. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
We talk with each other. We have meaningful conversation about the journeys we've been on, the lives that we're living, the things that we've worked on, and the things that we're working through.
And the theme for all of our conversation, barring none, people need people.
Absolutely. What's that saying? No man is an island.
No man stands alone.
I think that gets reinforced every single time we come together.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how it gets reinforced tonight.
I know, right? We're excited tonight. We got,
what
hold
else?
on, we're not quite there yet.
What
else are we doing?
Yeah.
We are keeping shop, guys. For those of you who are not familiar with that expression, that means that I want for you right now, don't hesitate. I want you to go over to www.kwministries.net/shop.
And guess what?
And I want you to shop.
You won't miss us. We're right there in the store having this conversation right now.
Absolutely.
So you can head over.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you promoting tonight?
I would like to promote her journey to healing. That's the online seminar, guys. So if you head over there, you will have a whole suite of services available to you. That is an online seminar series. And let's say you don't feel like online seminar series and you're like, but I really want to hear from KW in person. Yeah, we do that too.
That's right. So please head over to www.kwministries.net and shop till you drop.
Absolutely. Yes. It's Valentine's Day.
There's a lot of free stuff in there too. So
there's always something to shop for, right? It's Valentine's Day, guys. Somebody in your life needs
a cup.
Needs a tote. They need a journey to healing. I promise you, there's something in that store for somebody in your life.
Somebody needs a devotional right now. I can hear it.
Absolutely.
We're so excited tonight. We have a very special guest, and we always give credit where credit is due. The guest is not ours original. She's ours now, but our friend Sharifa, who lives in Orlando, introduced us and said, listen, I have the perfect person for you all show. And so we're so grateful to have her with us, and we're going to introduce her to you right now. We're introducing
Dr. Louise. Dr. Louise, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I want to tell the people a little bit about you before we get started. So guys, let's start here. She is a mindset transformational coach. What does that mean? She uses proven scientific strategies to help individuals have mental and emotional clarity. Dr. Louise has obtained her PhD in marriage and family therapy and has helped families and individuals work through crises for, guys, more than 20 years.
Wow.
For some of us listening tonight, that's already a lifetime, right? So she's also written two books, both of which have been guides for how to heal one's trauma, mental turmoil, and spiritual brokenness. She helps her clients typically by using cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT strategies, mindfulness, meditation, and much more to help transform lives and reset minds. She offers insightful, empowering neuroscience strategies for transformational as well as spiritual insight and wisdom. So we are about to join her on a journey as she would invite her clients to enjoy a journey. We're going to enjoy a journey together of self-discovery, healing, and transformation tonight.
Doc, we're about to ask you what you are celebrating on this Monday. But before we do, Sharifa is celebrating opportunities. She's celebrating opportunities. Thanks for hanging out with us, Sharifa. We just got through talking about you. Doc, welcome. We're so excited and happy that you're here and that you're going to talk with us. Can you please tell us what you're celebrating on this Monday night?
Oh my goodness. First of all, thanks for having me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm celebrating life.
Yes.
I'm celebrating life. And I say that because every day in every way I look forward to getting better and better
Mm,
because no one knows what tomorrow and even the next day or moment is going to be. So
mm.
I celebrate the fact that I'm here.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
therefore I have purpose here. There's
Yes.
something here for me to do. So I'm celebrating life.
Awesome.
I had lunch with someone today,
Mm-hmm.
and the person was, we were talking back and forth about church, and the person said, I don't know how much more summers I have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much more uh, time I have. And so I want to make the very, very best of whatever time I have. And that's what I just heard from you again is we're celebrating life because we don't know what the next moment brings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about that group that was flying out of Washington D.C.
Mm.
We don't know what the next moment brings. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. I'm celebrating life with you. I'm celebrating life with you.
Love that.
Yes.
So that mindfulness, I'm gonna. This is your world,
I'm gonna
and
let you
so
start.
okay, all
Go
right.
for it. Go for it.
How did you become a marriage and family therapist? What's your story?
My story. How did I become a family and marriage therapist? Well, I always wanted to help people with understanding why whatever was happening with them was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that my love for people would have to be authenticated with me helping them. So just being in the church and being the pastor's wife and counseling others, as I had done on my earlier journey, I wanted to be able for people to understand because this is the world that we live in of who are you? Who
Mm,
are you to tell me
mm.
anything? And
All right.
especially me being a woman of color.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I needed to get a degree. I already had a master's, but I also knew that I wanted to paint the picture that God was speaking through me. So I
Mm,
couldn't work for someone. You know what I mean? I couldn't
mhm,
have them telling me, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to say. So
Mm-hmm.
that
mhm,
was my inner man speaking that I knew that I was going to help people, but I also knew that I needed to be accredited.
mhm,
Yeah.
So I have a spiritual mom, Mama Fola, we call her, and she's been in my life for a very long time, ever since first stepped into the church world as we all know it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But she was very encouraging because, see, I come from a family of 10 children, and no one in my family had more than a high school diploma at that time.
mhm,
So
Mm-hmm.
for me to talk about going into a PhD program, I didn't even know what PhD stood for, family. I
Mm-hmm.
had no
Mm-hmm.
idea. I had a bachelor's, I was already a teacher, but my world was not
Yeah.
expanded to that next level. I knew about a master's degree, but now you're talking about a PhD. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
So it was my spiritual mom. And that's why I heard you say today that we need each other. We need community. You need someone in your life that's going to speak to you about something
Yes.
that you don't know because we don't
Mm-hmm.
know
Yes.
everything. And
Yes.
it was because of Mama Fola saying, "Oh, you going to school, girl?" You know how those they thought they
Mm-hmm.
talk. You know, I was like, going to school for what? I already have a master's, and she was the one that inspired me to get a PhD.
Yeah.
And my own inner man knew that I didn't want to be clinical
Mm-hmm.
because for some reason, I think it could have been because of my past history. I didn't want people to just keep taking a pill. I needed to
Mm-hmm.
find out, why do I have this headache? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So that was
Mm-hmm.
how my journey began. And I went to NYU because that's where I got my master's from. I lived in New York forever
Mm-hmm.
and I applied to NYU to their psych program and I got turned down. Now, mind you, I went in the application with a 3.9 GPS.
Mm-hmm.
I mean GPA. I'm in a car, GPS, right? My
Right.
grade point average was 3.9. You don't get much
Mm-hmm.
better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
So why? I didn't expect not to get accepted, but see, God knows the steps and the plans He has for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm telling you, me not knowing about a PhD program, me not knowing that world, I come to the interview. It was a hot summer day. I got my hair in braids. I got my little dress on, my little sundress, and I'm off to my interview. And I walk into the interview room, and everybody has on a navy blue suit
Mm.
and a briefcase. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
I must be in the wrong room. I said,
Yeah.
I'm looking for the doctoral program interview. And they said, this is it. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. I could have shrunk. So what am I going to do? You know, I can't leave. It is what it is. I didn't think that people were that judgmental. Look at how that played out. Because it had
Yeah.
nothing to do with my interview process. It had to do with the way I looked. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
look the part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
didn't have on a navy blue suit. I didn't have a briefcase. I had on a sundress and braids in my hair, and this little dark skinned child had come up in there talking about she gonna be in the PhD program at NYU.
Mm. Yeah.
No, no. So when I got turned down, I was disappointed. But then I happened to go, I was teaching at the time, happened to look in my mailbox, you know, teachers have mailboxes, and Walden University had a flyer in there. And that's how I got introduced to Walden University. And when I went to that interview, guess what I had on?
A blue
A,
navy blue suit.
a navy blue suit and a briefcase.
We were ready this time.
My navy blue suit. And I was like, yes, okay. So that's how I wind up at Walden U. And it was a wonderful experience
Yeah.
going to Walden U.
You
It was
know,
distance learning, so it was great.
I find it so interesting that some of the language that you used as you were talking about this was that you had this journey to your inner self. And what we're talking about tonight is knowing your inner self, which I think is integral in everything that you have done. So I'm curious, tell us about the parallel between that journey to knowing your inner self and the work that you have started doing with people, or that you have been doing with people over the years.
Okay, so it is a journey, and because of time, I want to say that I didn't know that I had an inner self always. I
Mm-hmm.
come from a very my background before I even met Mama Fola was that I was an addict. I had 7 years in heroin and 7 years using cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know who God was.
Mm-hmm.
All I knew how to do was get high, and that was my world. And I
Yeah.
was also working, so I was a functioning addict. But
Mm-hmm.
So
when I met,
let me interrupt you for a second, just so you know that this is going to be a part two,
Oh,
oh,
you
because
already
okay,
know.
okay, all
because
right.
I don't know. Well, you don't know that my wife is clinical, so
No,
we're going to be exploring this all night.
yes.
This is good. All right.
It's good
So
because you know what? People see you and they don't know.
right,
So I
exactly.
didn't know
They
who
see the
I
glory. They
was.
don't know the story.
They don't know the story. But
Let's
I
talk
want
about the
people
story.
who are listening to this because there's no shame. because it
No,
was all about the experience. I didn't
that's
know it
about
then.
journey.
It's about the journey and about the
Yes,
experience that you
yes,
learn on the journey. So I
yes.
didn't know it then
Yeah.
that was an integral part of my journey, because it was at that time. Let me tell you how important it is that people meeting you, when you're meeting people, look for something to be happening on that journey, because
Mm-hmm.
God puts people in your life for a reason.
Yes.
So when I met Mother Fola and she was telling me about, church and the Bible, I was like, church, Bible.
What's this?
She was like, you don't know? I was like, no. I was like, we
Mm,
were Catholics, and the only reason why we went to the Catholic
mm,
Church is because Mom told us we had to go to confession, so that when it was time for them to give us food, that they would know that we were Catholics.
Mm.
mm.
So we were Catholics because my mom had 10 children. And whatever way she could get money to feed us and to put food on that table, we became Catholic, Baptist, whatever it took. But that's what
Mm-hmm.
we became. So I didn't
Yeah.
really know about God, what she was talking about. But
Yeah.
something happened that I didn't know. And that was once I started learning. But I told her, I said, now listen, I'll study with you, but I need you to know that I this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I do coke. I was married to a Panamanian,
Mm-hmm.
so he was a coke dealer. So I didn't have to go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. My supplier
Mm-hmm.
lived with me, okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I was functioning. So
Yeah.
I had no intentions of giving up that life, because I knew
Mm-hmm.
nothing about the life that she was talking about.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, you don't have to give up anything. I
Whew.
just want to show you God." And I was like, "Okay." So that was
Okay.
the deal. That was it. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But on that journey, there was something that happened. Two things that happened. One was, first of all, my um the person that I was living with, the Panamanian, was very abusive.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was already in. And so the drug soothed me to the
Mm.
point
Mm-hmm.
that it over the abuse came, but then I did the drugs and then it left.
Yeah.
But then it was because that journey and that experience was to end, that it was enough. And God, this is what I'm talking about. When God is a spirit, and God works in everybody. But
Yes.
when nobody knows God's timing, but when God has a call on your life,
Mm-hmm.
the Spirit of God will show up.
Mm.
And God spoke to me one day and said, "This is the last day that you will do any coke, smoke any reefer, and drink any beer." And I
Mm-hmm.
said, and I had never heard God's voice.
Mm.
And I said, huh?
What do you
I'm
mean?
looking around like, first of
Mm-hmm.
all, where are you? Where is this
Mm-hmm.
coming from?
Yeah.
And it didn't repeat itself. It just stuck with me. And I told my girlfriend, my get high buddy, and she said, "Well, if you don't want it, you can just leave it for me." I was like, I don't know what's going on. But that was the last time. And that
Mm.
was 40 years ago. My son is 40 years old now. That was 40 years ago that God took it away. I tell you, people of faith, hold on,
Yeah.
because God will show up in your life. He doesn't show up. It doesn't show up in everyone's life the same. But I want to tell you something. When you have decided that
Mm-hmm.
enough is enough,
Mm-hmm.
God is going to show up.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
somebody's texting me and saying I can't get in. So I don't know what she needs to do. What she's coming through on. Did you see people coming in? But they're trying to get on. She said I can't get in.
uh,
Um,
Anike, put the link to the YouTube in the chat that we have, so she can text it out. Let me ask you something. I would like for you to please go back. You made a statement. You said the abuse came,
Mm-hmm.
but I was in.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Could I get you to talk to someone who may be watching right now, or who may be watching in the future, or somebody who knows somebody who's in? They feel
yeah.
as though whatever is going on around them may be bad, but they're in. Could you talk to that person right now? That person that's in?
Yeah, because what I meant when I said that I'm in is that I was in my mind, I was into the drugs. The drugs were my lifeline. So it didn't matter what else was happening because of the drugs.
Right.
So as long as I had the cocaine, I was fine.
Right.
So there's something about understanding how our mind operates. And when you are addicted to something, it takes precedence over everything
Wow.
else in your life.
Mm-hmm.
All of your feelings, because right now, especially cocaine, especially cocaine and heroin. I can speak to those two because those were mine. Uh, I didn't know it then, but your prefrontal cortex is not operating.
Mm-hmm.
Your logical reasoning mind, and my sister knows because she's clinical and she probably has a background in understanding how the brain operates. Your logical reasoning mind is shut down because you're no longer able to connect with the prefrontal cortex. You are only working from the amygdala. Your hippocampus mind is only it's filled with cortisol because your life is filled with stress. And when you have so much stress in your life, in your brain, because your mind is your toolbox. So your hippocampus is your mind of memory, and it holds your memories. But when that thing is offline, the amygdala, which is your survival. Everybody has the same thing in their head. The amygdala, which is in your head, which is right next to the hippocampus, it always signals the hippocampus, what should I do? But if the hippocampus is offline, then the amygdala is going to send you into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Because my hippocampus was offline, I never went anywhere except those three modes. I stayed in survival mode. I was either in fight, fright, or freeze. And most of the time, I was in freeze. I would just shut down and let it go away.
Yeah.
So to those that are out there
Yeah, yeah.
that where your hippocampus is offline because you having a very stressful life or you've had a very stressful life, everybody has stress. But my point to you tonight is let's understand how this mind, which is a tool, operates, and how are we responsible for helping ourselves release that stress and let that hippocampus operate in its fullness because God made us wonderfully and beautifully. But we have entered into this world and on this planet, and some of us have gotten caught up in stuff because of trauma, because of unresolved trauma. And we don't know about that because people of color, many people of color, did not know anything about therapy. It was just a way of life. It was an acceptance. It was like, hey, well, so I got a beating. So they hit me up beside my head. So they
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
honey, that was trauma. And
Mm.
see, I had so much trauma in my life, which led me to depend on these soothers so that I wouldn't have to deal with the trauma
Yeah.
until I was in. I
Mm-hmm.
was in to the life of all I want to be is soothed. See, that was my
Mm-hmm.
make believe life. I was
Yeah.
good as long as I was high. I was good, and
Yeah.
I stayed high, and I was functionally high.
Mm-hmm.
But when God came in, it was a different kind of life.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't even miss the cocaine. I didn't want it. I had
Wow.
no desire for it ever. He just took it away. So
Yeah.
to my family, God called us together tonight so that I would be able to share. But see, I don't have any shame.
Yeah.
All
Mm-hmm.
I have is glory because it
Yeah.
Yes.
was all an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want you to know that whatever you're supposed to be, as
Yeah.
long as you wake up,
Mm-hmm.
because you have got to wake up. If I would have told Mama Fola no, I would not have waken up then.
Mm.
Yeah. I have a
See, that
question
was my
for you,
wake up
Doc.
point. Yeah,
I have a question for you, Doc.
yeah.
Because something that you said just kind of stuck with me. I'm just imagining somebody who's sitting and listening to us right now who's maybe has this question of if I am living in stress and I
Mhm.
am living in that survival mode and I don't have access to all that lovely logical thinking, how do I even know to take that first
First
step?
step, yeah. Where does that come from?
That's a good question.
So
How do I?
before you understood the mind and how it works,
Yes,
where did your hunger for freedom come from?
I didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know God is divine. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't
Mm.
have one. I didn't know that what I was doing, that there was something other that I could do
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because I didn't know God.
Mm.
Remember, I only went to church.
Yeah.
I only went to the Catholic Church to
Mm-hmm,
get
mm-hmm.
communion. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have that inner workings. But God had to ignite it. And all I had to do was to say yes to who He sent to open me
Ah,
up.
okay. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
see,
How did you meet her?
I met her through a friend that was studying the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, come on, let's go over to so and so's house. They have Bible study on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, I went with her, with my friend, because I was not allowed with the person that I was living with to have any friends. So this was excellent for me. I wanted to get out of the house. I was like, oh, yeah.
Mm.
And he was so jealous
Opportunity.
and so insecure. You know, he was so jealous and insecure, so I couldn't have any friends. But he didn't mind me going to like that type of setting with her because he ran with her husband. They were both drug dealers. So
Right.
he didn't
Mm.
see that that was going to be any harm or any foul. So
Yeah.
that's how I got to meet Mama Fola. We went to this group where they were studying the Bible and Mama Fola was there. And Mama Fola took us on her wing because it was obviously what God had taught her to do. And we all began, she took a bunch of women together and we began to study together. And after months of studying,
Mm-hmm.
she said, I want to introduce y'all to church.
Whew.
Mm.
Yeah.
We
So,
studied many books and many disciplines.
Yeah.
And then she said, I want to introduce you to a man that I trust,
yeah.
which happened to be later on my father-in-law.
Oh.
Yes, that's who he became. And I trust him. And that's
Yeah.
how I stepped into the religious church world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my life continued to take off because now that I said yes, because that was the question,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know what is it? What is it that caused you to do that?
Yeah.
There wasn't anything. The only thing that it was, and that's why he said, the day you hear my voice,
Mm-hmm.
you see, his
Yeah.
voice will come from a person, from a podcast, from a
Mm-hmm.
movie, from a song. But the day you hear my voice,
Don't
harden
harden your
not your
heart.
heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Just
the
say yes.
Yes.
and the thing is, the God is working even when we can't see him at work.
Absolutely.
Because here Doc was thinking she was going to hang out
Mm-hmm.
at a
Yeah.
person's
Yep.
house.
Just an opportunity to get
Not
out of her
real There's
house.
an opportunity to get out of her house, not
Yep.
realizing or not knowing
Mm-hmm.
that God had already gone ahead
Mm-hmm.
and orchestrate
Prepared
Yes.
a place, if you will.
prepared a
Yes.
place for her
Yes.
with the right angel
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
begin the deliverance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So God is working, God is moving, God is doing. Thank you for sharing that. That is so important, to talk about where we're coming from and where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So you have go ahead, come on.
No, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So you said first step, say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
What do I do next, Doc? I've
You
said yes.
become consistent. You become consistent after you say yes. God is going to open up a way. He's going to present you with things.
Mm-hmm.
And you are to choose them. Because he said, choose who you will serve. See, this is what we lack to do. We don't choose.
Mm.
Once we say yes, and then God opens up a way for us, and that way might be prayer. That way might be meditation. That way might be counseling or therapy. But once he opens up that way, then it is for you to become consistent with the practice that he has led you to. So
Mm-hmm.
I became consistent. We
Mm-hmm.
went to church every Saturday
Mm-hmm.
and I became involved in it. And you see, the more that I became involved, my inner man began to understand the next kind of world, the spiritual world. I looked at those people so happy, clapping and singing, and nobody ever got tired. And I don't know if you know about, I don't know if you know about holiness churches, but I'm just trying to tell you, we
Mm-hmm.
went in at 9 and we got out at 9, okay?
Wow.
Okay. We went in at 9, we stopped for lunch and had lunch together, then we came back
Mm-hmm.
and had more praise. And then about 7 or 8, it was over. And then sometimes we had joy night.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But you never got enough because you
Mm-hmm.
were always in this electrifying presence
Mm.
of people loving God, loving the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere.
You
Yeah.
hear
So your
that,
next
people?
step,
Yeah.
yeah, loving the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So church was my beginning. It was
Mm-hmm.
where I opened up and learned how then I hungered. And he says, what? Hunger and thirst after righteousness,
Righteousness,
and
you
you
will be
shall be
filled.
filled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you shall
Yes.
be filled. And I hungered to be, I only knew what I saw. You see,
Yeah.
that's why we are epistles and we are examples,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Yes.
saw the people in church and they
Mm-hmm.
looked happy,
Yeah.
and I
Ooh.
wanted to be happy. Because
Yeah.
remember, my life was chaos. When I
Yes.
left church and went back home to that drug dealer, it was
Mm-hmm.
not, it was not no picnic.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
still in that abusive life. I had not yet stepped out of it.
Yeah.
See, God stepping into your life doesn't always take you out of everything at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a
It's an
growth.
experience and it's a growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
God is a deliverer.
yeah, hold on, because I don't want to pass this.
Mm-hmm.
Church people, did you just hear her? I saw them happy, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted what they have.
Yeah.
I saw them happy, and I wanted that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Church people, did we hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
There is a world out there that need us to be the church.
Mm-hmm.
There's a world out there that needs our smile.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was just
It
powerful. I
was.
thought
It
that was
was.
powerful.
There's another piece in there, Doc, that I wanted for you to kind of highlight and talk more about. You said, when God comes into your life, it doesn't mean that your situation is going to change
Yes.
immediately.
Yes.
And I know that there's somebody out there who probably is sitting right at that place where God has come into their life and the
But they're not
situation hasn't
seeing.
changed
Yes.
yet.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
Talk to
speak to
them.
that
Yes.
person
Good job.
about
Yes.
where they are?
Yes. Because change takes time. See, first of all, understand that God is in us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a man in the sky. See, that is not my belief. I don't believe he's up there. I believe he's in here because Jesus said in John, I am in you and you are in me. And together we make our abode in the Father. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that since Yeshua, Jesus Christ came, that spirit that he left us conjoins us now to the source, to the big picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that, because things work in cycles and
Yeah.
takes time and it is progressive.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do, that's why he said faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Your work is to hold on.
Yeah.
Your work is to believe. If thou can believe, all things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, to
Mm-hmm.
the family that of listeners, we're not having religious service here. We are talking about truth because you have to believe. Because people's disbelief, because of their disbelief, there were times when Jesus could not work any miracles. And it was not because he didn't have the power, it was because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not telling you to believe in a person. I'm telling you to believe in God, the source, because God loves us and
Yes, he
God
does.
is love. And the scriptures delineated all across the pages. But because we don't know what love looks like and what
Mm.
love feels like,
Mm.
we don't understand this God that
Mm.
created us in his own image and likeness.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That's
So
good.
it might not go away, but I can tell you one thing. If you hold on, the change will come because it has to. Because
Yeah.
the universe, God, the universe works and operates in law. In law. So, whatever you are holding on to, whatever you are speaking over your life, whatever you are holding and have faith and believing in, it will come to you.
Yes.
We're not talking about mushy, weezy. We're talking about facts. And I'm telling you for a fact that
Yeah.
God is outside of time. You see, God is not in what we understand as time. God just is. And it might not work out the way you're looking for it to work out, but he heard you
Yeah.
because
Yes.
the universe is alive. God is a spirit and he hears us. So just because you're still in that situation, I went back home to that abusive man. That
Yeah.
man kicked my tail, punched me in my head, knocked me up, did all kinds of things. But I kept going to church
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
never went back to the drugs.
Yes.
And me and Mama Fola wasn't afraid of him because he told us, I'm coming to that church. And he was a vicious Panamanian. I will cut everybody up. And Mother Fola said, well, and she ain't but about 5 foot. She said, well, you just come on. Okay? You just come on, because nobody here is afraid of you. All right? But God. But
Yeah.
God.
But God.
You see, this is a mystery to some. But I want to encourage those that are listening
Yeah.
because the Lord put us together for
Yeah.
such a time as this.
Right.
Yeah.
That
This is
we're
good.
talking about the God that created us.
Yeah.
There's so much science now for us to understand that we were created as a special people. And
Mm.
that there's something in us that our creator put in us that connects us to him. The Bible says, and he breathed into
Yes.
there and they became a living soul.
Living soul. Yeah.
So whatever that something is, we call it a breath, that connects us to the source.
Yeah.
And that's why I love breath work.
Mm.
That's why I do mindfulness. And that's why I breathe. Because breathing, taking your breaths, can help you to reset the vagus nerve.
Oh no. Go say that again.
When you take a belly breath, breathing in through your nose, you can do it to the count of 4, but your belly must expand. You put your hand on your tummy and you breathe in through your nose and feel your belly expanding. Then you let it out slowly through your nose or mouth. I like to do the nose. You breathe in 4 and you let it out to 6. Every time you do that, the science says that you have reset your vagus nerve and your inner man begins to calm down. And it sends a message to the hippocampus and it says, you are safe.
Yes.
And remember, we talked about that earlier, how the hippocampus is so offline that the amygdala can't get the right signal.
Yep.
But when your hippocampus says you are safe and the amygdala comes and it's really not a bear, it's okay. The hippocampus says it's not a bear, it's only a dog. You see? But when your hippocampus is offline, the amygdala can't get the true panoramic view because
Yeah.
the hippocampus is so filled with cortisol.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
something as simple tonight as our people learning to breathe,
Breathe.
take a
Yeah.
breath, and do it throughout your day. See,
Yeah.
what happens is that we as people, especially in today, and I'm gonna stop and let you have the question. I just want to finish this
No,
point.
you're fine.
No, go ahead. Go
We
ahead.
we keep going on like we are some type of Duracell battery or something.
Mm-hmm.
We don't stop. We go on we like we gonna run out of time. Time
Yep.
is an
Yep.
illusion. Time is an illusion. Life is real. And you have to first care for yourself. So
Yes.
you take that breath throughout your day. You start your day with taking a breath. And you
Mm-hmm.
hold it in for 4 and learn to use the tools that God gave us.
Yeah.
Use your imagination to just say over yourself. He said, speak over yourself. I am releasing everything that no longer serves me
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and let it go.
can we practice? Can we practice? Let's practice. Let's practice. Yeah,
Yes,
let's
I
practice. Put her. No, put her
love
back
the
up there. And
breath.
I'm
I
fine. I
love
don't need to
it.
be up there.
I love the
Put
breath.
her.
I love the
Put her back
breath.
there. Can we practice? Let's practice.
Yes, yes. Put your hand, and this time I'm going to go just a little deeper with you. Put your hand over your heart, your right hand over your heart, and put your left hand on your stomach.
Now, if you're
Now,
watching, come on. Let's all do this
breathe
together. Let's
in
do
through your
this.
nose to the count of 4. Just breathe in, and in your mind, you count 4. Hold it. Close your eyes. Release it. I am releasing everything that no longer serves me. Breathe in again. Feel that stomach expand. Take another sip of breath if you can. Let it out slowly, slowly, slowly. I am releasing everything that no longer serves me. One more breath. 4. See yourself as your perfect self, as your best self. Release the breath.
I'm safe.
Hey,
I'm calm.
I am
Mm-hmm.
safe.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
yes,
That's good. That's
yes.
good. That's good.
Breathing.
If you
Mm-hmm.
tried that, put in the comment section. Let us know what that did for
Yeah.
you. Let us know how that made you feel. Let us know what happened in
Yes.
you. Y'all almost lost me
Doc.
for a second there, just so you know.
Doc. Doc, I
It
love how
feels so
you.
good.
It
It
does,
feels
It
so
doesn't
good.
does.
it?
It does.
I
It
love
feels
how
so
you
good.
led us through that practice just now. And what you said right before you did it is that we use the resources that we've been given.
Yes.
We have been given breath.
Yes.
Use that resource. And it made me think of something that I was thinking of earlier. You know, when we're kind of leading off that first question of I may not be out of the situation, but God is with me.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm out of the situation, but now I've got to do that additional work so that that inner man feels safe. And this is one of the things that we can do. Why else are practices like that? And what other practices can people do to help them work through and help to reset that brain body connection piece of
Oh,
things?
I'm
Before you
glad.
answer,
Yes.
Sharifa says she feels safe doing the breathing.
Yep.
And
Yes.
Unspeakable Joy says it was weightlifting. I like
Yes.
that.
Love
It was
that.
Yes. I hope that
weightlifting.
other people could get on. Some of the people were trying to get on. I don't know what happened, but it does. It is weightlifting. And thank you for those people that shared their comments with us. So you asked me what is another mindfulness practice that people could do in their homes to help them to release stress.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of them is called tapping. Have you heard of that
Mm.
before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know what it is.
Talk to
Um
us, Doc.
it's called EFT, which is
Let's
called
put it up to her there.
emotional freedom technique. Now, EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping, works to
Mhm.
rewire the brain to bring both the body and the mind back into balance. So what happens is that stress holds itself in the body.
Mm-hmm.
The body keeps the message and keeps the score. So a lot of times when you're stressed, you might feel that tightness in your back and in your hips or in your shoulders, wherever you feel it at. You might get a bad headache. You might have a bad upset stomach. but it's your body, because your body and your brain are connected. But EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is tapping, it works with you tapping points on your body that are considered acupuncture points that are deeply connected to the mind, that help you to release stress. So when you are learning to tap, for those, I said I was going to write it down, there are specific places that you would tap. And it would be, and you write it down, those of you that are writing, you tap first on your eyebrows and you use two fingers. You tap on the side of your eye. You tap under your eye. You tap above your lip. You tap your chin. You tap your collarbone. And you tap under your armpit. Before you tap your eyebrows, you tap your hand right here. Now, tapping works along with what you say. So I wanted to give you the tapping points because I want you to understand that when you're tapping, you're also speaking, and you're allowing yourself, and you're saying these mantras like, I am feeling stress because I am so scared. I can't see anything else but anxiety. Part of me believes that I can't relax until I have all the answers, or until everyone or everything is fixed. I honor how hard this has been, and I give my feelings now my voice. So
Hey.
now I want you to give it your voice. And when you are tapping, I want you to give it your voice. I feel stressed because. Why? Why do you feel stressed? Are you overwhelmed? What is happening with you? And then all of my stress in my body and in my mind is making me feel, see, you have to tell the truth to yourself. It's making me feel overwhelmed. I
Yeah.
want all the answers now. This is why you're feeling stressed. So as you're saying these affirmations, you're tapping and you're tapping out. And at the end of you tapping to affirm that you are feeling stressed, then you say, I give myself and I allow myself to feel good. I allow myself to let go. I allow myself to feel safe. I allow myself to trust others and to trust myself. I allow myself to be happy. I desire more in my life. I desire to relax. I desire to trust. I am exactly where I am meant to be. I allow my mind and my body to relax. And you do that tapping and you make a difference in what you say. And after you have tapped, check in with yourself, like we did
Yeah.
the breath work, and
Yeah.
see where your stress level is after you
This,
have done the tapping. Tapping is so powerful.
when I tell you this is
Ah,
good, this is when I tell you this is
I
amazing.
love
Again, share
it.
with us how you how Dad says this is very relaxing.
Relaxing.
And it is. Now, I do want to ask the question because I know some people are gonna say we're on here working voodoo.
oh,
So let me clar let me I won't be surprised if my boss calls me tomorrow and says, what is it that I heard was happening? So let's clarify. Let's not clarify and I don't want to make any apologies for what we're doing. But I
mm-mm.
do want for you to share with us, and you said it earlier, you all started to
Mm-hmm.
say it earlier, that God has given us tools.
Mm-hmm.
we
Yes,
we are stressed out people.
Yep.
We are addicts.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
You know, you talked about heroin and coke.
Yes.
Some
No,
of us
we're
are
addicted
addicted
to
to
stress.
work.
To
Some of
work.
us are addicted to stress. Some of us are addicted
Yes.
to exercise. Some of us are
Yes.
addicted to stuff that are good for us. Some of us are addicted to food. Most of us are addicted to sugar. We're
Yes.
addicts, and
Yes.
we're killing
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. And there are these tools that unfortunately we use religious bypassing
Yeah.
to dismiss
Mm-hmm.
the challenges that we're facing when we
Mm-hmm.
could actually face them and
Yep.
deal with them, and we have some tools that can help us. So I'm asked, my question is, how important is it that we use these tools to actually help us do the work of coping
Mm-hmm.
that we need done in our lives? And while you're thinking about the answer, Sharifa said, oh my goodness, my smartwatch just told me that I am relaxed after doing exercise.
Stuff works,
Confirmation,
man.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
How
It will.
important is it that we do this stuff though, and not
Well,
allow our narrow religious thinking to prevent us from enjoying or from healing?
Yeah.
that's a good question. And my mom always says something that sounds so simple, but I'll use it all my life. She says you have to want it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You have to
yeah,
want it.
yeah,
They used to tell us when we were kids, I can take them to the water, but I can't make you drink.
Yep.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's important when you think it's important. It's important when you value, when you're ready for change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people want other people to do it for them, or they still are in victim mode.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, change is not going to come because you still are in victim mode.
mm,
Life is going to bring us all experiences because we don't know anybody else's soul journey,
Yeah.
but everybody has the journey of the soul. And when it is time for you to change, when you have had enough,
Mm-hmm.
and it is time for you to see within yourself, your inner self, when it
Mm-hmm.
is time to see who and what you are, you will get an opportunity. And I want to say to our family, don't ever let opportunity pass you by.
Yeah.
When you
yes,
hear something, you need to go with it. You need to
yes.
put your religious mind and your doubts, put them aside because that hasn't brought you the change that you need to have right now. It
Or
can
at the
bring you to
very
a
least,
certain
check it out.
place. It can bring you, and there's nothing wrong with church. There's nothing wrong with religious practice because I told you that was my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
every now and then I get me a praise on, okay? Because praise is what
Hey,
I do. Because God says I seek it up to worship and praise Him. But
Mm-hmm.
you've got to know
you
what's
just woke
happening
me up.
inside of you. Because if you don't know what's happening inside of you, if you're
Yeah.
not understanding what's happening in this head that you
Mm-hmm.
call a tool and in this body, this suit that we wear,
Mm-hmm.
then you have done yourself an injustice and an
Whew.
inservice to your time on the earth. The sciences are here.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Bradington, Joe Dispenza, all of these scientists, Sue Morter, Dr. Sue Morter, all of these people, and I can name a few that
Mm-hmm.
have understood the science of the mind and understood the connected science to spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
We are a spirit. And we have got to wake up to understand what that means. And for
Mm-hmm.
everybody, it doesn't mean the same thing. Just because I don't shout and speak in tongues
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that I don't know God. Because there
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
ain't but one God.
mm.
There's many ways to know him,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there are many religions.
Yes,
And that
ma'am.
God is love. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Is that you have to learn to love and
Mm-hmm.
you have to connect with the source.
I
Yeah.
You
love it.
have to connect with God, the one that's in you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I told you to put your hand on your heart. So the next time, if you invite me back, I
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
want
we're
to
Not
good.
share
if.
with you.
When. When, Doc? When?
I want to share with you in part two
Mm-hmm.
how the heart has been scientifically proven to be the little brain and
Mm-hmm.
how the heart connects to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, you can't just work from the brain alone because the brain lives from the subconscious mind of habits. And
Well,
if you're
that
just gonna,
hold that for part two, because and Annika,
She gave them a little
I
teaser.
know
What happened.
Annika. I think we're good for the last Monday night. You were telling me we don't have anybody
Yes.
for the last Monday night in February. If Doc is available, I think we're good.
Mhm.
But because we only have 6 minutes left. Where did the time go?
know.
Doc, you wrote this amazing book that we're gonna put up that you can get in Amazon. You're gonna put up that book, and you said you had it there ready for me. If you're available February 24th, we're ready
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
So this is Doc's book, Higher Steps, Solutions for Healing. As you heard this evening, that our mind is so valuable. Our mind is so important, and God has sent a work for us to spend some time with and to learn from. So we're encouraging you to go over to Amazon.com. There it is on your. Can you put up back the Amazon page itself? And I see the book, but could you put up back there?
There we go.
All right. And Doc, could you tell us a little bit about your book?
Okay, well, yeah, Highest Steps Healing is was written under the inspiration. It was written during COVID, and it's a story of my journey. It takes me, when I say higher steps, I went through my childhood because I didn't know I had trauma. And I want to share with people that things that are so simple that you think are so simple, you need to really look into that, because we need to look at the inner child.
Yeah.
Where did the trauma begin? And look at the steps that have happened in your life that are connected to the trauma. See, I just didn't become an addict. I became an addict because at 7, I experienced trauma. I
So
cut off.
don't tell us what the trauma is till the 24th. Oh, no.
Come back for part 2,
Yes,
guys.
don't tell us what the trauma is. So we have to do some stage presence here, man. We're not using all of our tools. Come on, we have to use some.
No, Doc
some
is doing
suspense.
good. She's giving the teasers.
Yes,
Yes.
So that we can come back.
yes.
There we
Yes.
go.
Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. Fix me up.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's how and so the book is a journey that talks about trauma, what my life was. It's really almost a bio, because it talks about my life as a child, and then it takes you through my life history, but it also connects with the sciences. So I talk about chakras. I talk about epigenetics and how I use these things. And I'll just drop the mic again on my cancer journey.
Whoa, I see. That sounds like part 2.
Man,
This
Doc.
is good. This
love
is
it.
It's been a
good.
journey. It's been a journey, and
Sharifa,
how
thank you.
epigenetics learning epigenetics helped me to use the universe and use God to change the way I was thinking,
Yeah.
and to use my mind's imagination to imagine every cell in my body smiling.
Whew.
Can you do that? Can you see inside? Make your body light up with love. Every single cell is smiling. And embrace yourself.
Yeah.
And what do I say? Breathe.
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 Breathe into that feeling of light and life and love. Because we are made of trillions and trillions of cells and neurons. And epigenetics says that you are not what your genes say you are. You are what your environment,
Says
and
you
your
are.
environment is your mind. What environment, mental environment, have you created?
Yeah.
Creation life, baby.
If you want to hear what Doc is putting out, guys, you're gonna have to come back on the 24th.
Or go get her book. And listen, we will get you tonight. We will get how much was it again? How much was it? And how much was the book? We will get a copy for 2 people, whatever it was. We'll get a copy for 2 people. So if you head over to www. Well, we're gonna tell you the
spin
2
the
people
wheel first.
Wait, right? We'll tell you the 2 people.
All right.
So we're inviting you to go get Higher Step Solutions for Healing. Read Doc's journey, and then look how she uses the signs. And again, showing us the price. Where is it? I still don't see it. Okay, it's
paperback.
The paperback is $16.99, and the hardcover is $44.99, and you can get it on Kindle for $4.99.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna get 2. We're gonna get 3 paperbacks for someone. For 3 people, and so you can find 3 people that we will. Let me see if there's anybody on my page that's not showing up on here that we need to put in this in the thing.
All right, we're getting ready to spin the wheel,
let's
guys.
spin the wheel.
And for those of you who just came on, guess what? You would have been included in this if you commented. So
well, you can still comment. Hurry up. If you comment, still comment. If you're watching and you didn't comment. And so that way we can include you.
All right, here we go. Here
comes the wheel. All right, Sharifa already has one, so we're gonna have to send Sharifa something else. Oh, I know she does. That's why she had you come on. All right, let's go again. Michelle Clark.
Oh, we haven't spun the wheel yet. Here it goes.
All right, Michelle.
Oh, that's what's up. And Michelle was their first commenter. Awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
Let's make sure we write down these names because last week I still need to have the names. If you're just coming on, is it too late, Ann? Because I see some people just came on. All right, let's go for 2 more, Ann. Or 1 more. We'll send Sherry for something else.
1 more.
Sherry for just 1 last week too.
That's all right. That's the power of spinning a
yes,
random wheel.
You sure did.
Yeah.
All right.
Unspeakable joy.
All right. Here's what you do, guys. If your name got called as one of our winners, you have got to head over to www.kwministries.net/claim your prize. There it is, right at the bottom of your screen.
Put the link in the chat.
You have got to fill out that form, and once you do, we'll be sending you Doc's book.
All right. So, Unspeakable Joy has 1 already, so we will send you another gift too.
We'll send you a different gift. But we still want to
support. We're still going to get 3 of the books so that way we can support. We're so.
Shoot, I'm gonna read one.
I want to read one too.
Worked out.
I want to read it. Listen, Doc, I don't even know how to say thank you. This was so much. Sharifa, good job. Yes. This was so energetic. It was so full of healing.
Yes.
That's the best way for me to put it.
Yeah.
Anything?
I love it. I can't even add.
Okay.
I've so enjoyed this. Doc, you have the last word.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share with your community. And I thank God for all of us. Thank you.
So now, Doc, here is to be honest with you, and let me say it on air. So, I would love to bring you to my church. I don't know if they're ready. But that's what I would really like to do. I'd really like for you to, I'll take them on a retreat. I'll take them on a retreat somewhere and then have her come there.
Sound like a plan is hatched. I love it.
Because I think I think what you did here
yeah,
is just so important. I mean, my wife, I've sat through seminars where my wife has done the breathing techniques, have done the tapping techniques, have done the other techniques. What was unique with here is your story.
Yes.
That comes with it is your own unique healing journey that comes with it. And for that, I want to say thank you so very, very. She wants to come.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to set it up, Sharif, but you know us Adventist folk now. Oh, we got to figure out how to do this one, but I want to do it. I think my members deserve it, because this is healing.
Yes.
But it's just to fight them to give it to them. But, okay, all right, Mama said stop. Okay, Doc, anything else?
No, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Well, if you're
Namaste,
available, we will
namaste.
see you on the last Monday night of this month.
Yes, I will make myself available on the last
Awesome.
Monday night of this month, and we're looking to see how God unveils the heart brain.
The heartbreak.
Because
See,
we're
so
still
she just did that.
talking
She just dropped in a coin.
I know,
She
right?
just dropped in a
Yeah.
coin.
We're
Listen,
still talking about healing and knowing your inner self.
Yes.
And we want people to understand how this is so important. And I'm going to bring the science of that and
Love
share
it.
with people the heart brain.
I love
And
it.
whatever
is
God
good.
tells us to share.
That's it.
This was good. This was really good. Listen, if it's Monday night, you're live.
With KW and
Sometimes J. Peace.
Thank
Look.
you.